Hello, everyone. My name is Kamran Said, and welcome to this webinar on the death of a salesman. I'll explain a bit more about the name, and we will start. I would first like to know if we all can hear me very clearly. There's a chat box. If you can just let me know in the chat that you can hear me, please, if you can write that. Great, great. I've got a response that you can hear me. Okay, so first of all, let me detail some house rules. We don't use videos, but uh, you don't need to even turn on your mics. There will be a window open for in Slido where you can post your questions anonymously when the questions and answer session start, which will be in, I believe, 15 to 20 minutes. After 15 or 20 minutes of presentation, we don't the rest of the 40 minutes will be for questions and answers, and recording will not be available, but you can always contact me directly if you want to discuss something in detail, or if you want to uh, perhaps share your experiences, or take the discussion further. Then I have given my email address, that is kamransaid@gmail.com, in my house notes, which I shared on the WhatsApp group. So it's the best that after the presentation, if you want to contact me for any reason, love sales is my passion, and I love to learn and find out what you guys are doing and how we can make it better, make ourselves better. So these were some small house notes, and now I start with the presentation. I've got a slide, and I'll just share my screen. Okay, so the screen is open, and again, I would request you to let me know through in the chat that you can see the screen. Please just write, yes, I can see the screen in the chat box. Anyone just answer me if you can see the screen. Don't just write a yes, but just let me know, yes, the screen is visible. Is yes, okay. So Abdul Sami said that his screen is visible. That's great. Okay, so let me start with my presentation on the death of a salesman. Actually, this name is a bit of a um, actually it was the name of a movie and a book. The movie was released in 1959. The context was very different. It was about the struggles of a salesman, and he finally takes his life because he was unsuccessful. But that's not the reason why we are using this name here. It's just a catchy name. And the reference here is that this is the time that I have seen in the past few years. The approach to sales, everything about sales has changed dramatically. It's not the same at all. All the methods, all the system, everything, how you make sales today is very different than what I've seen in the last 10 years. I've been in sales for the last 30 years now, 32 years. And I've seen it changing dramatically. And since it has changed, so the older methods don't work anymore. And the reason for this presentation is if you are the kind of salesperson who is still relying on the older methods, then perhaps it's not going to work, my friend. You have to change according to the time. And secondly, my reason to make this presentation is because I'm still seeing a lot of sales gurus still talking about the methods on their podcasts and on their social media channels, which actually don't work now. So here's my take of why the old salesman is dead, why the salesman is dead has died, and uh, in the next presentation, a follow-up presentation, perhaps on Tuesday next, we are going to discuss then what to do and exactly what are the skills to be learned so that you can make yourself more productive if you are in sales in 2024. Okay, so first of all, there are only 7 pointers that I will make. So the first pointer is the salesman has died because actually the customer has changed. The salesmen, sometimes they don't understand that, especially those who have seen the past 20 years or 15 years of sales. The customers have changed a lot. How has the customer changed? At, in some time back, it was the salesperson through which uh, the customer used to see, or the prospect used to see the world, or very expertise about the field that you are making sales for. For example, if you are selling generators, but then perhaps he's going to ask you the questions about what is new in the market and what suits his needs and everything. But the time has passed because now the customer has a lot of information in hand, and he is very used to of using all the information that he can extract from the internet, of all the competitors, of your product, of the reviews, and everything he wants to find out about that industry. And actually, he can get all the answers directly from the internet and ChatGPT and Google. So now, when you approach him, he's not looking at you as a person who's going to inform the customer about what is new and what is changing and what is available in the market. So the customer has changed. He is very well aware now when he actually finally makes you a call to come over and discuss. He has already made a lot of decisions himself and in his organization, and he's only approaching a few clients, a few suppliers whom he has already shortlisted. So the customer, the way he used to look at the salesperson as his eyes and ears to that industry, has gone now. It has changed. You cannot just think now that you're going to tell the customer something that he needs to know. Even if you tell him something which is actually, if he doesn't know already, he's going to double check it. triple check it from various sources. So the time to actually make some statement which is not entirely true has gone. That's why the old salesman is dead. The approach has changed. Number two, it means that there used to be an approach when you used to uh, approach the customer. It used to be like making a presentation, making a pitch. It used to be making a pitch. Exactly that, okay, this is my name, this is the name of my company, and this is my product, these are the features, and this is what I can do for you. Now, this has changed. You cannot just tell the customer that these are the features and this is what I can do for you. No. Now, what you have to do is send him all the information across the board, online, change, maybe send him just a web link. He can read himself about the product, the features. I can identify if you really fulfill his needs. Not only that, he can you can pass him on with not only the web page but also some kind of information that he requires in order to uh, make the decision. You can send him PowerPoint presentations, the text. So when you actually sit across the customer, it's not that you have to make a pitch. There is no pitch. Now, it is just now a discussion about, do you really fit the does your product really fit the requirements? And the second thing is, the customer is actually trying to evaluate and judging if whatever information you have provided and whatever he has learned about you and your organization, is it true or not? Because it's only when you sit across the customer, well, sometimes even not sit across the customer, but on Zoom, that you learn uh, that the customer is finally able to decide that whatever he has learned up till now is really true. The company is serious, they have integrity, and we should move on. This is what he's judging. He's not looking at the information you give him. He's you're there because he's just judging you and maybe finding answers to a few questions which are still left. So therefore, your approach has to change. Style has style has changed. Again, style is closely linked with the approach. The style to present is very different now. Uh, Even the appearance of the salesperson has become different. It depends upon the industry, definitely, but mostly speaking, the customers are not looking at some person who is uh, whose appearance is has even an iota of non-genuinity in it. If he's appearing non-genuine in any way, if you're just trying to put a tie and actually and a coat and actually uh, you're trying to be something which you're not, it doesn't help anymore. You have to be relaxed. You have to put yourself across the way you are. You have to be genuine, because now it's so difficult. Well, actually, I would say we have seen everybody, the politicians around the world, the governments going naked now in front of the public, only because the public has access to social media and information. So how would you hide yourself? There's no way to hide now. So be genuine. Prospecting has changed. Well, prospecting used to be very different at one time. I myself have actually done, what you call it, door-to-door prospecting, going from office to office, finding out if there's a need for my product or not. It's changed now. You don't leave your office, and actually you can do prospecting. Prospecting has to do a lot with selecting the industries, selecting the customers, finding out the right persons in the customers, reading about their profiles, understanding what they are, finding out their contact information, and actually then um, making an approach, and then not actually making an approach. physically, but actually indirect through indirect methods. And there has to be a system of it. We are all going to learn about all those systems and what to do in the next presentation that I've lined up as part two of this presentation, which is the Salesman Reborn. But for now, you have to understand that prospecting has changed. It's totally different now. Even now, I see many sales groups talking about making phone calls like maybe 50, 60, 70 a day. Oh my God, so difficult. I don't think so it works anymore. I think the ratio for the customer to pick up the phone line, but just forget about the landlines. Even the mobile phones, if you're lucky enough to get the number, is quite little now. If there's a new number coming in, usually the customer would prefer that if somebody sends a small WhatsApp message to say exactly what you want to say, and then perhaps he would decide to contact you or not. So the approach has changed, the prospecting has changed, and you have to adapt yourself accordingly. Else, what happens is if the salesperson does not change, then it ends to frustration. It ends up in being depressed. In it ends up in uh, not being able to achieve goals and actually losing out your job and your business. So that's why I say prospecting has changed. Approach has changed. The process has changed. Um, Processes actually, I would say, after prospecting, once let's say the customer says yes, I'm interested, then let's say, well, the process is like can be very tricky where the process starts and where it ends. But let's say we talk about two or three methods that is usually followed in every sales. You sit across the customer, answer his questions, which is um, basically you can say remove his doubts. That's one part of the process. Secondly, then if he's convinced, then we talk about the the price and negotiation. And third is actually um making sure that the customer closes in time. Let's say if we talk about this process, more or less, once you are across the customer, the process is the same, but the decision making for the customer has changed a bit. For from the sales perspective, I would say the process has not changed that much, but overall, the aspects of the process has changed. For example, let's talk about um, negotiation. You have to learn the techniques. You have to be very careful of each and every word you say, and also you have to be very careful the pricing that you set, that there is enough room for negotiation. And then, actually, when you negotiate, you have to come on genuinely. You just cannot make up things. This has changed, I would say. Even though this has less to do with technology, but with the overall awareness of the customer and overall uh, the expectation for the customer for you to be genuine. So even when you are negotiating the price, it has to be rational, it has to be principled. And whatever is rational and whatever is principled is always appreciated by the customer. I hope I'm making my point. I'm just looking forward to your questions. The last part of my presentation is relationship management has changed. I've seen the time when a usual method for relationship management was for the salespeople to just call the customer who is already a customer, who's already bought your product. Hey, I was just passing through this near your office. Can I just drop in for a cup of coffee? And it was actually in order to learn if everything is going fine, if the customer is happy, if there are no um, questions, or if there is no actually if anything that you can help with. And actually at the same time you look forward for any kind of uh, upselling opportunities. Now the relationship has changed. Relationship is all gone online. Relationship is maintained through through social media. Relationship is maintained through passing on information that might be helpful to the customer, not actually going and meeting him and asking him what's wrong. Occasionally, yes, you can send questions and uh, maybe be in touch with in WhatsApp and just ask a few questions. That's it. Or maybe a phone call somewhere. But mostly, you can be in touch through social media and through the various industry updates that are happening and finding out exactly how the customer still feels about your product. So I believe you understand that all the process has changed, and any salesman who is still stuck to the last uh, decade of skill set is dead. So this is my presentation for today. We have got around 40 minutes for questions and answers. I've already shared the code for Slido, and I'm now closing down the presentation and opening up Slido. So you can just, you have the code for the event. You can now post your questions. They will come to me and I'll answer them in sequence if there are any questions. If there's anything uh, like, yeah, just let me know. Let me know if all is clear or not. If there are any questions. Any questions? Can you all open the app, the Slido app, through the link that I've shared? There will be a system of asking questions directly. The questions that you post will be available. Yes, I've got one question now. New ways of prospecting. Okay. Uh, I I think I touched upon it. It depends upon your product. But what I've seen is, let's say we are into B2B sales, and most of the sales is B2B actually. Uh, Apart from like if they are selling uh, properties or perfumes at the walk here, or anybody uh, like in Pakistan, my country, the shopkeeper selling saris and clothes to the women who are uh, coming to their shops. Most of the sales are B2B. So for B2B sales, if you have a definite market, the way to prospect is to actually, first of all, spend a lot of time in building your database. First of all, when you have your database, for example, I'm working on an event these days. My event is planned on 30th of April in Dubai. It's called the Industry IO Summit. Now I have to prospect Industry IO Summit Dubai, and I have to get together all the CIOs from the 6 Gulf countries. So I started out 6 months back, and my team is working to first of all shortlist the number of companies that we want to invite from. We already done that, around 300 companies, 250 to 300 companies in each of the Gulf states. Then we try to find out the that uh, IT heads, the CIOs, the CISOs, and the HR heads and the relevant persons in those organizations. Because if they have to be present in a conference, then it's through the HR person, and of course you have to directly let them know the CIO that you are invited to this event. So name, designation, company name. They can be easily found through using LinkedIn primarily, and there are other methods as well. LinkedIn is not always helpful. I'll discuss in detail in my next presentation. And then when you have the database of the companies, then you find out the um, email addresses. There are a number of services you can find out from ChatGPT and go with whatever services you have. There are methods where there are websites that actually give you a probable with around 90-95% of probability the right email address through a system of checking by name, first name, last name, organization, etc. Then if you have the email address, now you have to write a series of emails which can be sent, let's say, in the next 3 months, depending upon what answer you get from the customer prospect, and then only trying to convince him, not by directly calling, eventually if he gives you his number, but through a series of very finely crafted emails. I hope I've answered your question. Please let me know through the chat that I have or I have not. Any more questions? You're welcome. Any more questions? Let me see that two chats have just come. Oh, somebody has asked a question in the chat. Okay. What is the significance of marketing in boosting sales? Okay. Well, frankly speaking, I believe marketing and sales go hand in hand. How I usually find the responsibilities of sales and marketing is divided in most organizations is that marketing is only doing its job to generate leads. And then once a lead is generated, which is if someone shows interest through indirect methods. When we are talking about sales, then there is a push methodology, like you are approaching the customer and trying to find out the customer and then getting the message directly. Marketing guys, again, marketing is now mostly through social media in most of the B2B cases. So marketing is writing the material for the website, designing the website, the content, the social media maintenance, continuously sending messages uh, and posts on the social media, and also not just that, but generating leads uh, for the customer who might be interested. This is more of a, you can say, pull approach. Here, by marketing, you are trying to get together any interest from the customer by 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 actually by shotgun approach, like putting everything out there and then see if somebody really takes interest. But as far as the sales is concerned, then you are directly targeting the particular person whom you want to target. So I think it doesn't work without marketing. Let's say you don't have a beautiful, a very focused, crisp brochure which looks good and is written very well, then your job is not possible as a salesperson. Similarly, if there is no good presence in the social media, there are no attractive posts being posted, then perhaps then the job of the salesperson is not possible. So building the brand image and getting the leads across through pull strategy is the work of the marketing. I hope I've answered your question. Can you answer me if I've answered your question, Abu Bakr? I think you asked on the chat. Oh, great. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Any other questions? Are there any other questions? I'll just okay, there is one chat. I have one more question. Can you share a smart sales hack? Well, which part of sales are we talking about? Like, which part? Or like, sales the whole process. As I said, it's negotiation is different, prospecting is different, um, basically finding out data is very different, and then uh, what do you call it? Your discovery process, finding out the discovery, like really posing in questions with the customer, which would help learn more about the customer. So I have to know exactly what kind of sales hack are we talking about here, then I can answer perhaps, Abu Bakr. As a salesperson, you also have to be very well versed with technologies. Unless until the technology is right, you know about the technology, you can't you can't work in sales now. Okay, so there's another question on the chat. When computers start speaking to each other and they are able to come up with best possible solution for sales purchase interaction with an algorithm, the decision and solution is completely machine based. What would you say? Oh, of course, that's a very simple question. Um, Whatever the machines say, whatever the possible solutions they give, there are two things that is definitely required in the sale process. One is uh, showing integrity and developing trust. One can never buy a product only by asking questions from a machine. Well, I'm talking about B2B sales, not like going in like shopping from e-commerce websites. Okay, B2B is when the when the product is valuable, which means it has high value. It is for an organization normally, not individuals. And uh, when the when the decision is made by not just one person but a number of people. So the approach is very different because any machine, let's say ChatGPT, can give you a suggestion, but actually when you are making a sale, let's say for 100,000 rupees, $100,000. I've not seen organization totally depending upon machine in order to take a decision. They need somebody from the other organization. They need a person they want to talk to. They want to make sure there is trustability, there is integrity. They want to have touch points before they can make a decision, not just by when the value is high, let's say $100,000, not by just what the machine has told them. They don't place an order normally. I've not seen this in my life. I hope I have answered your questions, Faisal. Is it possible to achieve using AI? But it's important to remember that nothing can. Oh, yes. Okay, so Abubakar is also has answered almost the same thing that I'm saying. Actually, you have to have trust when the value of the sales is highest long term. It affects your processes within your organization. Any other questions? Any other questions? If if there are no, oh, There's one question now. Can human be replaced by AI or technology in the next few years? I don't think so, because no one can say about the distant future, but let's say for a few years. I believe that less in sales and any of the processes, the technology can only be a supportive role. The replacement can be in very repetitive tasks. The machines that actually are meant to be experts, for example, in law, or for example, in medicine, they can only suggest. You can only use it, but eventually there has to be a machines can be used in order to get answers, but not actually. You still have to have some kind of judgment by the human. I know the machines can make a better judgment as well, but again, to rule out any possibility, there has to be a collaboration of both. There has to be like the technology has to be supported, if it is the right word, or maybe vetted by the human. I hope I've answered this question in best of my understanding. So, Abu Bakr says artificial intelligence is currently taking over customer services tasks. I think still we have a lot of people are working in the customer services industry all over the world. Go to any restaurant, you get customer services. Go to any airline, go to any bank. It's not that artificial intelligence is taking over customer services. It's not. And effectively perform lead generation duties. No, we are just using technology the best we can in order to make sure that leads are generated. It's just not replacing humans. There are people working for lead generation as well at the moment. Most of them are working. I hope I've answered the question. Machines can only support at this time, not replace. You're welcome, Rebecca. Any other questions? No more questions? Okay, so I think we close the session today now. And thank you so much for joining in. Please, if you want to discuss anything one-to-one with me, I'm always available. Send me an email, kamransayed@gmail.com. And please join me in my next session where we talk in detail about what a new salesman should do in the next session of this webinar, which is on Tuesday. Thank you so much. Goodbye.